Hey guys, BlueOJ Leader here. I like video games. A lot. And I like making video games. If you watched the video where I made a Thomas & Friends fan game called Really Useful No More, aka Top 'em Gun, then you already knew that. So I wanted to make another Thomas & Friends video game, but I wasn't really sure what to make. I didn't have any strong new ideas, or at least any that seemed feasible. But then I remembered something that was said in an AlphaRad Platinum video. Rest in peace, by the way. It was in their video, The Final Suika Game, but like the one with Jaden in the thumbnail. Basically, Dave, Jacob and Joe's friend, made a Suika game in a couple hours, and he talks about how there were some complications making it. Mainly just how to handle two fruits colliding with each other and merging. And hearing him talk about that got me thinking, could I figure out a way to make a Suika game work? And so, after wasting way too much of my precious time, I finally made Thomas's engine merge, aka Thomas Suika. And not only will I be showing it off in this video, but I will also be talking about how I made it, since I think the process is very interesting. Of course, if you'd rather just skip to the part where I actually play Thomas Suika, then here's the timestamp. But otherwise, let's just dive into this, shall we? Here is a video about how I made a Thomas & Friends themed Suika game. Okay, let's start by answering an important question. How exactly do you make a Suika-like game work? See, Suika game is unique compared to other puzzle games. You have to make the same types of fruits collide with each other so that they can merge into one bigger fruit. Now, if you know anything about game development, then you know about the importance of collision events. If an object collides with another object, then an event will occur. Now, one might think that a way to make the merging mechanic function work is to do this. If this fruit collides with the same type of fruit, then change the current fruit into the next fruit and destroy the other fruit. Seems sound, right? Well, the problem is that while the current fruit will run this code once colliding, so will the other fruit. Which means you'll get an outcome where either both fruits destroy themselves or indefinitely create new fruits merging into the next fruits, none of which is what we want. So what do? Is there a way to make it so that only one fruit gets destroyed while the other changes into the next fruit? Well, it turns out there is. All I had to do was run a check to see if the current fruit was higher than the other fruit, and whichever one was lower would be destroyed, and the one at the top would change into the next fruit. Problem solved! We now have merging mechanics that work. Now, most other Suika-likes tend to change the fruit on the bottom as opposed to the top, or try to split the difference between the heights. So you might be wondering why I didn't do either of those. Well, there's actually a reason for that. But to explain, we need to first talk about another important aspect of Suika game. It's a physics-based puzzle game. That might not be something you think about very much, but yes, Suika is physics-based. The fruits turn, slide, and they can go flying if they're not careful. This is all essential because if you take it all out, you get this. This is an early build of Thomas's engine merge. And as you can see, it's a bit different from what you might have expected. And it's not just because it's missing stuff like the score and the fact that it's super vertical. See, there are no physics in this build of the game. The engines fall and either merge when colliding with the same engine or stop otherwise, but because of that, it basically forced me to make the room extremely tall, since the game wouldn't be possible otherwise. I mean, the only strategy is basically to stack engines on top of each other and combo them and hoping for the best. And also, it sometimes resulted in the occasional floating engine, since once they collide, they stop and the gravitational force doesn't act upon them again until colliding with another engine. It's very weird. And coming back to the whole changing the top engine instead of the bottom one, if I did the opposite, it would result in some engines clipping into the floor, which would have looked pretty bad. But then again, this build is pretty bad. It doesn't feel like Suika game at all, and it's simply because it doesn't use any physics. But I didn't think you could have physics in Game Maker, so for a while, this was my finished game. This was the Thomas Suika game that I was going to show off to all of you. But then I actually Googled if you could have physics in Game Maker. And as it turns out, yeah, you can. In fact, it was right in front of me there the whole time. So after watching this wonderful video by Red Mage Creative, I went to work and oh my god, it's actually perfect. I don't even need to have like a million collision events. Look at how simple this code is now. And I don't have to worry about stuff clipping out. Yippee! So after that whole thing, I finally had a Suika game that controls well and actually feels like Suika. And from there, I just kept building on top of it. New features, new music, new level themes, tons of fun stuff. And now it's complete. So with that long-ass explanation about how I made this game out of the way, it's finally time to show it off. Alright, here it is, Thomas's engine merge. So this is the title screen here, obviously, and we can see like the way the engines merge with each other and how they evolve. Like it's like Toby, Percy, Thomas, Rosie, James, Gordon, Henry, Emily, Edward, and a mystery engine. Ooh, what can it possibly be? It won't actually be that exciting. It's not that crazy. So yeah, there's a couple options, as you can see here, like escape to exit the game, pressing F to exit full screen. It's currently in full screen right now. And then of course, once we get to the game, you can press enter to pause. Basically, all your controls are here. You can also change the background by pushing like up and down. And you can switch between like day mode and night mode, which is pretty cool. So we got a normal grass area plus the night version. We got the seaside area and a night version. And then we got the Blue Mountain Quarry plus a night version of that. We're just going to stick with like the regular grass area, which I believe was inspired by a set from season 2. It looked very cool and I wanted to use that. And I also have a couple music options too. Like we have the Post theme, which is a slightly remixed version of the theme from the Super Nintendo game, Super Nintendo Thomas game, and all the music is from that, in case you're wondering. We also have Duck's theme too, and Henry's theme, and we have the option to play no music. But we're gonna do the male theme right now. And now, let's play the game. So yeah, as you can see, it's Suika game, alright. And there's sound effects for when the engines merge. And they have physics, which is really awesome. Playing this like right after my kinda lamer version of Thomas Suika, this game is just a huge improvement, like in general. It's so cool to play it. I love seeing the way the engines like bounce around and fall and stuff. I'm just really happy with this game. I don't know if you can tell. So of course, there's a lot more features too, like you can see what your next engine is, and the score is visible the whole time too, and of course that's probably stuff you should expect, but compared to the original it's quite a bit. But yeah, it plays basically exactly like Suika game, but it does have a bit of a difference, and that's the fact that all the hitboxes are squares. Let's see if I can show that in an interesting way. So like, it can bounce off like that, but then it just lays flat on its side. For some reason, the physics engine only has a couple options for like different physics you can use, or like the hitbox, I guess. You can't just use the standard hitbox, which is very weird, but okay, sure, I guess. So I just made everyone squares because I figured that would be the easiest. And I was right. It was a lot simpler. I tried doing like somewhat of a polygon, but you can only have so many sides, which again is also very weird. I definitely wish there was a little bit more, because I would love to just use the standard hitboxes, but I guess whatever works. I mean, it's not like Yo-Yo Games makes like a ton of money off of people who use their software or anything. Whatever. So yeah, all these sprites are actually from Top 'em Gun, with the only new ones being Rosie, Emily, and then the titular like final like fruit, I guess, even though they're not technically fruit, but like you know what I mean. So they're all kind of like shrunken a bit, and they look a little bit smaller than normal, but Rosie and Emily in particular are actually perfectly like in scale. Like the Rosie here is the same sized Rosie as the other engines from Top 'em Gun, and Emily, we'll see her in a second if I can get a perfect merge. Just give me a second. There we go. There we go. See, that is like perfectly double the size of like Rosie or the other engines. Pretty happy with the work I've put into this game. It very much is what you see is what you get, but I don't think that's really a bad thing either. I think that is kind of fun in its own way. And it is still pretty decently full-fledged. Stuff like the pausing, which took a second to figure out, but I got it working pretty well, which is good. I usually do like pause screens with like save functionality, like the save functionality, which isn't really a good way to do it, I guess. Where basically you just save your data, go to the next screen, and then when you click resume, it loads the data. You can't actually do that in a physics-based room, which I found out, which is very interesting, but I guess it makes a little bit of sense. Really? Those didn't merge? Maybe if I like push it down a little bit. There we go. So yeah. Alright, I think I want to show you the other levels too, so we're just gonna quickly like get a game over, so that way I can show you everything else that this game has to offer, since there's a lot of cool stuff. If I can get a game over, I might be too good at this game. Oh, I did want to show one thing too. So in normal Suika game, like if you reach like the line right here, it's usually a game over. But as you'll see, it'll blink for a bit, and you'll actually have time to save your run. I obviously didn't do a good job of showing that, but maybe I can show that a little later too. So yeah, you can retry, go for a higher score, or you can pick like a new song and a new level. So we'll do the seaside level next. This was based off of the seaside village from Season 3, obviously. I really love that location. I think it's very cool. And I think Dutch's theme is kind of the perfect theme to use for this. I don't know. I like it a lot. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's check out some of the other levels. So let's do Henry's theme now, and we'll do it at the Blue Mountain Quarry. This one was actually a lot of fun to make because there was a lot that I had to consider for it. I used like multiple different reference images of the Blue Mountain Quarry, and I even included Owen and Merritt, so that's pretty fun. And they're looking at each other. Do you think they're in love? I don't think they are. But, you know, a man can dream, and I guess that's what like fan fiction is for. I'm going to try to get a game over so I can show you that there is a little bit of time to save your run, but we'll see if that works or not. I really love this like slight remix of Henry's theme that I did. I just like messed with the what's it called, like the pitch a little bit and slowed it down, I think, and it just sounds great now. I mean, Thomas' music is really timeless. I love the music from the show. It's so good. I know that's not an unpopular opinion. People love the Thomas and Friends songs. Okay, let's see if I can show the... There we go, see? Kind of like that. It looks like you'll mess up, but you actually do have time to save your run, and I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, I guess the last thing I'll show is one of the nighttime variants. I'll show the Blue Mountain Quarry one in particular because look at this. Merritt and Owen are asleep. That's so cute. Or, I mean, I think it's a little cute. Oh yeah, somehow I forgot to mention, Harold is the one dropping the engines. I don't know, I thought that kind of made a bit of sense to me. Like, I mean, who else would be dropping the engines? Like, I don't know, Jeremy the jet plane? I mean, sure, but like, Harold is definitely way more iconic. Yeah, I guess I don't really have too much else to say. So I'll just play for a little bit longer, and obviously I want you all to play it, so I won't show too much more. Or like, you know, I won't spoil who the final, like, fruit is. But yeah, I'm just pretty happy with how this turned out, and I hope you guys are happy to play it, because I don't know. I like seeing. I want to see people play this game. I think that'd be very fun and cool. But yeah, I think we'll call it there. This has been Thomas's engine merge, and yeah, I guess we'll just end the recording here. And that was Thomas's engine merge. Just like last time, if you're interested in playing the game for yourself, there's a link to a Game Jolt page in the description where you can download the game for free. I don't know if I'll keep making videos like this in the future. It seems like my audience is more interested in other stuff. However, if you guys would really like to see more games and videos in this style from me, then please let me know. I would love to keep making more, as they are a ton of fun to make. But we'll just have to wait and see. Though, with that being said, I think that is finally it, folks. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and as always, best wishes until we meet again.